Hello, welcome to Unlocking Buddhism. Welcome, seekers of inner quietude and clear understanding. As we gather, settle with gentle awareness of the present breath, letting the day's currents recede. Let the mind become a still pond, its surface unrippled, ready to reflect the depths beneath. In this calm, we begin a journey inward, a compassionate inquiry into the fabric of our experience. We will look with fresh eyes at what we often take for granted, the unspoken assumptions and habitual pathways that shape perception. Today, we turn our attention to what is called common sense. That phrase carries the weight of unquestioned truth, received wisdom, and habitual thought that from childhood becomes our bedrock. It frames how we interpret events, evaluate situations, and form opinions about ourselves and the world. But how often do we examine this common sense? Is it universal, or a tapestry woven from personal history, culture, and ingrained patterns? We do not dismiss it, but hold it to the light of mindful awareness, seeing its origins and effects. Consider the spontaneous opinions that arise, automatic judgments, immediate preferences, and aversions that color interactions. These are often direct manifestations of common sense, deep-seated beliefs operating beneath conscious scrutiny. We react, affirm, and dismiss, often without reflection. Efficient, yes, but such responses can harden the inner landscape, so new insights struggle, and alternative views find little room. We grow used to a way of seeing and begin to mistake familiarity for truth. This unexamined reliance has a subtle yet profound consequence. It can obscure the path to inner freedom and wisdom. Imagine walking a dense forest on a well-worn track. Convenient, it may carry you past hidden clearings, springs, or majestic trees just out of sight. Common sense often guides us along habitual routes, preventing entry into unexplored territories of our own consciousness. True freedom is not merely absence of external constraint, but liberation from internal prisons of fixed views, unquestioned beliefs, and reactive patterns. Bound by these, our choices and understanding are shaped by habit, rather than present clarity. The obscuration feels natural, self-evident. It is not an external barrier, but an internal veil woven from accumulated conditioning. We may sense unease, a feeling that something more profound lies beyond our grasp, yet without seeing automatic perception's role, we struggle to find the source. Our path invites us to lift this veil, not by force but through patient, compassionate observation. It takes courage to question what has always felt true and to examine the lenses through which we view existence. This work is not about discovering external answers, but cultivating a deeper relationship with our inner landscape, discerning what serves our aspiration for peace and what hinders it. By observing automatic opinions and ingrained perceptions, we create space between stimulus and response. In that space lies the seed of true choice, the potential for genuine understanding, and an opening to wisdom beyond mere facts. We cultivate discernment to see beneath the surface and pierce assumptions that govern our lives. As we begin, hold an open heart and a curious mind. The insights we seek are not distant treasures but intrinsic aspects of awareness, waiting to be rediscovered. Our invitation is simple. Observe without judgment how the mind operates, how common sense manifests, and how it shapes the inner world. This gentle questioning is the first step toward reclaiming authenticity and clarity of vision, illuminating the journey to inner freedom and enduring wisdom. Let the contemplation settle within. Let quiet curiosity awaken. In turning attention inward, we begin to perceive the vast potential beyond the familiar, invited to explore the rich landscape of consciousness. Our journey begins with a practitioner facing chronic illness, a profound challenge that opened a path towards seeing the futility of fighting bodily sensations and the necessity of accepting the body's present condition. At first, there was fierce resistance to persistent discomfort, a natural urge to push away what is unpleasant. The mind, conditioned to seek ease, rebelled against pain. A silent daily battle unfolded, an exhausting effort to control, eliminate, escape physical reality. That struggle only intensified suffering, layering mental anguish over the primary sensations. It revealed how our relation to an experience, more than the experience itself, shapes its effect on well-being. The initial reaction affirmed the common sense that pain is bad and must be fought. Yet amid that conflict, a subtle change began. Weariness at the futility of resistance gave way to nascent curiosity, a quiet wondering about another way. Not a sudden revelation, but a gradual dawning, like dawn's soft light creeping across a distant horizon. The practitioner began to observe the resistance itself, not merely the pain, seeing that pushing away was a mental act, a choice, though unconscious. That observation marked a turning point, opening to the possibility that freedom might not lie in eradicating pain, but in transforming one's relationship to it. The path ahead was not about conquering the illness, but about living with it, integrating it into life's tapestry without letting it dominate. This required re-evaluating long-held beliefs about control and suffering, gently dismantling the mental architecture that had dictated responses to discomfort. It was an invitation to move beyond the superficial desire for immediate relief and to access deeper wisdom born of acceptance. The illness, stern as a teacher, guided the practitioner toward a nuanced inner peace. It invited releasing expectation and simply being with what is, without judgment or demand. The journey was not free of difficulty, doubt, or despair, but each small act of letting go brought a faint glimmer of release, a brief respite from inner struggle. This quiet unfolding of awareness, forged in the crucible of chronic illness, laid groundwork for a radical shift, from adversarial opposition to compassionate understanding. It showed that true resilience is not found in avoiding suffering, but in cultivating a spaciousness in which suffering can arise and pass without consuming the whole being. The practitioner discovered that the body, in its complex wisdom, is not an enemy. To fight the body's condition is to deny a fundamental reality. The path became one of intimacy with the present moment, a courageous embrace of all that arises, pleasant or unpleasant. This deepening connection, freed from resistance, began to dissolve the illusion of separation between self and sensation, allowing a more integrated, peaceful experience of life. Through patient observation and gentle inquiry, persistent sensations shifted from torment to a pathway for awakening. This quiet revolution was not about ending pain, but about cultivating a heart that could hold pain with kindness, a mind that could witness its coming and going without entanglement. Wisdom unfolded not as intellectual attainment, but as direct, embodied knowing, teachings arising from challenge. The initial struggle softened into the understanding that peace arises not from absence of difficulty, but from meeting it with an open, accepting heart. Liberation proved internal, freedom from aversion and a welcoming of all facets of existence. The body's condition became an opportunity for spiritual growth, proof of acceptance's transformative power and the resilience that lives within. Mindful awareness allowed the practitioner to observe sensations without identification or judgment, reclaiming agency not over the illness, but over the response to it. Focus shifted from what could not be changed to what could be cultivated, a calm, resilient inner landscape. The narrative gently reminds us that even amid persistent challenges, the seed of resilience waits to be nurtured through mindful awareness and compassionate acceptance, and that liberation comes from transforming how we relate to our experiences. It was through a gradual shift of perception that the practitioner came to see true strength not in external control or the swift removal of discomfort, but in the mind's capacity to remain undisturbed amid adversity. This insight did not arrive as a flash, but unfolded through a steady, compassionate turning inward, an observant attention to the mind's automatic movements. The practitioner learned to witness the first flinch at pain, the subtle arcs of aversion, and the persistent wish that things be otherwise, without judgment. That non-judgmental witnessing acted like a gentle chisel, slowly reshaping the landscape of inner experience. Instead of reacting with, "This is bad, I must escape," a softer, more spacious recognition arose. "This is happening now. Let me observe its nature." Through steady practice, this stance loosened entrenched resistance that had amplified suffering. It was a process of befriending the present as living reality, embracing its facets without preference. The heart of this cultivation was khanti, patience and forbearance, not passive surrender but courageous engagement with what is, allowing difficult sensations to arise and pass without being swept away. This resilience was not a shield against suffering, but the capacity to experience it without being consumed, enabling the mind to transform its relation to illness. This transformation did not deny sensation or stoically suppress feeling. It was a deep inquiry into their nature and the mind's response. The practitioner began to distinguish raw sensation from the accreted layers of mental anguish, fear, and lamentation. Like separating clear water from muddy sediment, clarity returned as the sediment settled. Physical pain, though present, lost its oppressive weight as the mental narrative surrounding it unraveled. This was no magical disappearance of illness, but a radical change in perception. With sustained attention, sensations were seen as impermanent phenomena, clouds crossing the sky. They arrive, linger, and pass. This direct realization of impermanence brought a quiet revolution within, a liberation from aversion and attachment to comfort. The body might continue its difficult course, yet the mind, unburdened by resistance, found a spacious freedom that allowed peace amid challenge. Cultivating this strength required deliberate, gentle retraining of attention. Each moment of discomfort became practice, a prompt to return to the breath, to pure sensation, to the spaciousness of awareness. It was not passive endurance, but active, mindful engagement, a brave willingness to be present with whatever arose. The practitioner discovered that the deepest suffering often springs not from pain itself, but from the stories we tell, the fear that it will continue, the resistance to its presence. By disengaging from these elaborations, the core sensation could be met with greater calm and clarity. That clarity allowed a deeper understanding of the body's wisdom, even in illness. The body was simply doing what it did. To fight it was to fight oneself. Through acceptance, a profound reconciliation began, permitting a more harmonious, though challenging, coexistence with the condition. This acceptance was not resignation, but a wise recognition of reality, a choice to meet life as it is, rather than as one wishes. The practice's effects extended beyond illness. It fostered self-reliance, not of ego, but a recognition that peace and well-being arise within, independent of circumstances. True security was not a pain-free life, but the steady stability of a mind trained in mindfulness and compassion. Forged in the crucible of chronic suffering, this steadiness became a perennial source of peace. Suffering, when met with wisdom and kindness, proved a teacher that revealed the spirit's resilience. The illness, once an adversary, became a guide to deeper insight into impermanence and the possibility of inner freedom. The practitioner's relation to suffering, once fixed and reactive, grew flexible and transformable through sustained practice and compassionate turning inward. The seed of resilience, once nurtured, blossomed into an inner strength that transcended bodily limits, illuminating a path toward liberation of heart and mind. Through cultivating inner strength and transforming our relation to suffering, we discover a capacity for resilience. Turning inward reveals the possibility of freedom amid life's challenges and invites a deeper inquiry into a subtle, pervasive aspect of experience, the nature of our opinions and perceptions. A central teaching is that what we take as solid reality is an intricate tapestry woven by the mind, clouded by mental impurities. These impurities, like dust on a clear mirror, obscure our vision. Consider the opinions we hold, ingrained beliefs that shape how we see the world, ourselves, and others. We cling to them as if they were truths, defending and affirming them. With gentle, discerning awareness, we can perceive their illusory nature. They are not qualities of reality, but mental constructs born from past experience, conditioning, cultural influence, and impurities. One such impurity is the sense of ego, the tendency to construct a separate I. A strong ego filters perception through preferences, desires, and fears. Events are interpreted to confirm or protect the self-image. If we identify as intelligent, contrary information may be dismissed rather than examined. Opinion then serves the ego's narrative, hardening the mental landscape and blocking insight. The belief I am right becomes a barrier to open inquiry, reinforcing the illusion that our viewpoint is definitive and resisting what contradicts our inner world. Desire and its counterpart, aversion, also taint perception. Desire craves pleasant outcomes. Aversion rejects unpleasant ones. Dominated by these forces, we see what we wish to see or recoil from what we fear. The reality does not change, but our interpretation does. Strong desire magnifies signs that support an expected outcome while ignoring contrary evidence. Strong aversion predisposes us to perceive negativity even where it is not evident. Craving and rejection distort experience. fueling constant mental commentary that judges reality against an internal template of what should be, rather than observing what is. A mind gripped by desire grows restless, unable to settle into the clarity needed for insight. Beneath ego and desire lies ignorance, not mere lack of facts, but a fundamental misunderstanding, mistaking the impermanent for permanent, suffering for happiness, interdependence for separateness. Ignorance leads us to cling to experiences, relationships, and opinions as if they were enduring, to seek lasting satisfaction in temporary phenomena. It constructs a fixed self and veils perception like a frosted window, blurring detail and depth. Without addressing this root misunderstanding, ego and desire recur, perpetuating distorted perception and suffering. These impurities intertwine, reinforcing conditioning that shapes understanding. Reality, in its pristine form, simply is. Our mental filters, responses and judgments, add complexity and suffering. Much difficulty arises not from events themselves, but from internal resistance born of these impurities. We loop in habitual thinking because we are unaware of the forces shaping it. The invitation is not to condemn these impurities, but to observe them with compassionate awareness, like watching passing clouds. When an opinion arises, can we pause before identifying with it? Can we inquire into its source? Is it a clear reflection of reality, or tinged with ego's need for validation, desire's pull, or ignorance of impermanence and interconnection? This pause creates space. In it, the grip of impurities loosens as we see opinions as mental events rather than absolute truths. The practice is patient, sustained observation. When the desire for comfort emerges, can we feel it without grasping? When aversion surfaces, can we witness it without pushing away? When the eye asserts its view, can we simply notice its arising? Not by force, but by illuminating these tendencies with awareness. Seeing their origin diminishes their power. Gradually, opinions feel less solid and more transient. Rigid reactivity softens into flexibility, openness, and genuine understanding. Freed from mental tyranny, we engage reality freshly, without habitual distortion, cultivating an inner spaciousness where wisdom arises, not as accumulated knowledge, but as direct, intuitive seeing. In that clarity, perception rests less in personal narrative and more in calm, unclouded awareness, reflecting the world like a still pond, clear, undistorted, awake. Such clarity invites us to understand that true contentment does not lie in appeasing every fleeting desire or erasing every physical discomfort, but in the liberation of the mind itself. This liberation, often mistaken for absence, is actually deep presence, an unwavering stillness untouched by shifting sensations and emotions. We are asked to see how easily the mind becomes enslaved by the transient. A slight itch can provoke an entire narrative of irritation. A craving can set off relentless pursuit. This enslavement is subtle, woven into daily life as constant seeking, a yearning for things to be other than they are. Unpracticed, the mind reaches for what it deems pleasant and recoils from what it deems unpleasant, never settling into the rich stillness of the present. That restless striving obscures the inherent peace within us. The practice, then, is not to suppress impulses, but to observe them with gentle attention, recognize their impermanence, and loosen their grip. It begins with the cultivation of khanti, resilience, a quality that lets us stand firm amid life's buffetings without reacting on impulse. It is inner fortitude that widens, not hardens, the heart, enabling it to embrace the full spectrum of experience. When a sensation arises, a dull ache or sharp pang, the uncultivated mind labels it a problem to be fixed or fled from. This sparks fear, aversion, resistance, and often an elaborate story of suffering. With khanti, we pause at that first moment and observe the sensation as it is, without immediate judgment. We allow it to be, acknowledging its presence without letting it define our whole state. This pause, this deliberate non-reaction, breaks habitual cycles and opens a doorway to choice. It reveals that suffering often lies not in the sensation itself, but in our resistance to it, our refusal to let it arise and pass. Detachment here is not indifference, but a profound grasp of impermanence. It is seeing sensations, desires, emotions, like clouds passing through the open sky of awareness. They appear, linger, and dissipate. Clinging to pleasantness invites disappointment when it fades. Recoiling from unpleasantness amplifies its power. True detachment witnesses comings and goings without grasping or pushing away, refusing to let them dictate our inner state. This freedom stems from insight. Our true nature is not contingent on the body's or mind's fleeting experiences. It allows full engagement with life, joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, without entanglement. We learn to enjoy without clinging, and to meet difficulty with a calm, discerning mind, knowing intense sensations will transform. Training the mind against enslavement is gentle, persistent work. We bring focused, relaxed attention to the body, noticing energy ebbs, changing textures, transient pressures. When an itch arises, instead of scratching, we observe its quality, whether it pulses, its location. By observing without judgment or urge to react, the sensation becomes less personal. No longer my itch, but simply an itch, a transient event in awareness. This small act shows the mind's ability to create distance and often diminishes the compulsive urge. The strength discovered is not suppression, but a wise choosing of response. Similarly, when desire arises for food, comfort, recognition, we pause and feel it. What does it do in the body? What thoughts accompany it? Is it expansive or constrictive? Seeing desire as a mental event rather than an imperative reveals that the craving often disrupts peace more than its absence. Unpracticed, the mind seeks endless gratification, cycling through wanting and brief satisfaction. True peace lies not in that pursuit, but in understanding desire's nature and cultivating freedom from its pull. This isn't denying pleasure, but engaging with it mindfully, without clinging, aware of its transience. This liberation grows slowly, like a tree, needing patience, persistence, and gentle insight into habitual patterns. Old habits will reassert, reactivity and overwhelming desire will recur. In those moments we meet ourselves with compassion, not condemnation, guiding attention back to the breath, to observation, to spacious awareness. Each return strengthens resilience and deepens impermanence's understanding. The aim is not perfect unfeeling, but a mind less disturbed, more flexible, more capable of peace amid change. Realizing that peace arises from mental liberation, not constant appeasement, shifts focus inward, from seeking satisfaction in the fleeting to discovering it in the enduring. The world will keep presenting pleasant and unpleasant events, but our response can transform. We are not victims of circumstance. We can cultivate an inner sanctuary, a calm awareness accessible regardless of external conditions. This sanctuary isn't built by avoiding discomfort, but by embracing it with wisdom, seeing through permanence's illusion, and recognizing inner freedom from transient desires and sensations. It is a profound, empowering realization, inviting life's engagement with an open heart, clear mind, and steady inner peace. The journey unfolds with each conscious breath, each mindful observation, each gentle return to the present, revealing the boundless potential for peace within. One begins to see that the external world, with its myriad provocations, offers hooks, pleasant sensations, alluring thoughts, unpleasant situations, irritating words, each inviting a reaction, pulling us into the familiar dance of desire and aversion. With mindful awareness, one learns to notice these hooks as they appear in consciousness, recognizing them as transient phenomena, not commands for immediate action. The practice is like a fisherman watching a lure in the water and choosing not to cast the line. The bait is visible, perhaps appealing or alarming, but the inner choice is to remain still, not engage, letting it pass without the reflex to bite. This capacity for pause, for non-reaction, is a radical departure from unconscious habit. It creates a space between stimulus and response where true freedom resides. That space is not empty, but a vibrant field of clear awareness, able to discern whether a reaction serves wisdom and peace or merely perpetuates entanglement. It is a quiet rebellion against the tyranny of conditioned impulses. This delicate practice of not biting the bait reaches into daily life. When an urge for distraction arises, to check a device, indulge in unnecessary thought, seek external stimulation, we gently ask, what is the origin of this impulse? Is it genuine need or habitual escape? When a critical thought about another surfaces, we observe its texture. Is this beneficial or a projection of my own discomfort? When an old memory of regret or longing comes up, we meet it with gentle attention, letting it be seen without clinging to its story or letting it define the present. This compassionate inquiry is not harsh judgment, but tender illumination of our inner workings. By recognizing the nature of these impulses, their compulsion wanes. We do not eradicate them, they are human, but transform our relationship to them, dissolving their control over our peace. The essence lies in disidentification. We are not our desires, aversions, or opinions. These are events arising and passing in the expanse of consciousness. Saying "I am angry" rather than "anger" is arising gives emotions false solidity and permanence, inviting entanglement and acting out. Observed from spacious awareness, they are transient visitors, impersonal processes like weather patterns of the mind. This knowing lets us witness without being swept away, acknowledge without being defined by them. It is a profound liberation that lets us stand firm amid shifting currents. Consider conflicts born not of seeking understanding, but of reflexive defense, biting the bait of ego-driven conviction. The opinion is a construct. Identification with it makes critique feel like an attack. Not biting the bait invites stepping back, noticing defensiveness, the urge to retaliate, the mind hardening. Turning inward, we ask, what is this need to be right? In gentle inquiry, we may find insecurity, fear, attachment to an image. By illuminating these currents, we can choose differently, listen openly, acknowledge another's view, or let go of winning. This is strength born of a mind unburdened by constant validation. This practice is not suppression, but insight and freedom. It is not numbness, but engagement from conscious choice rather than automatic reaction. Each pause, each gentle inquiry, each decision not to bite a fleeting sensation or thought cultivates a serene, clear, grounded mind. This resilience becomes a refuge amid life's changes. We move not as puppets of conditioning, but as awakened beings, responding with compassion, wisdom, and freedom, discerning what truly serves our deepest aspiration for peace. The path unfolds not through force, but patient, moment-to-moment awareness, gently releasing the grip of transience and discovering the enduring peace within. In this journey of awakening, we meet a subtle entanglement, mundane good sense, or conventional wisdom. These unwritten rules, social norms, and practical guides are taught early and internalized as objective truths. They shape how we dress, speak, achieve, and feel. Many serve social function and efficiency, yet mindful inquiry shows these sensible rules often become invisible shackles, keeping us on well-trodden paths, away from richer landscapes of our own consciousness. The challenge is to develop discerning awareness that separates truly beneficial principles from self-imposed limits, cloaked as common sense. Many accepted truths are born of fear, clinging to security, or a shallow grasp of happiness. The sensible pursuit of accumulation, status, or validation, while logical in a worldly frame, often yields perpetual dissatisfaction. The mind, always seeking more, stays restless, unable to settle into the peace of the present, chasing shadows and mistaking fleeting pleasures for lasting contentment. To defy this common sense is not to reject responsibility, but to question the assumptions that drive our pursuits. Does this truly lead to peace, or does it perpetuate craving and aversion? Moving beyond mental fragility, where peace is easily disturbed by external change, requires such introspection. Fragility arises when inner life depends on external validation, when selfhood rests on transient achievements, or when happiness demands things go our way. Strict adherence to worldly common sense deepens these dependencies. Define success only by external metrics, and every setback feels devastating. Anxiety, disappointment, insecurity grow. The mind becomes a delicate leaf, buffeted by every breeze. Genuine insight invites cultivating an inner stability that transcends external fluctuations. Well-being is not how many rules we follow, but how deeply we understand reality and navigate our inner world. Many shoulds and musts are inherited, unexamined, and automatic. Mental maturity is shedding automatic obedience and cultivating a discerning mind that tests beliefs and actions against the yardstick of peace and liberation. True strength lies not in external mandates, but in inner freedom born of clear understanding of our motivations and perceptions. This is not a call to rebel against all norms, but to pursue deeper alignment. Some rules ease social life without leading to awakening. The path asks us to step gently outside conventional thinking. Observe automatic reactions, question immediate judgments, examine unspoken beliefs that shape choices. When discomfort or anxiety arises, resist the reflex to fix things externally or conform. Instead, pause. In that pause, inquire, what is happening within me? Is this reaction serving my highest aspiration for peace, or is it merely conditioned? That reflective practice loosens self-imposed limits. The common sense that felt like foundation can be a subtle prison. Advice to prioritize appearances and approval often silences authenticity and disconnects us from our inner voice. We wear masks to fit in, sacrificing real connection for superficial acceptance and leaving an unease, a sense of not being truly seen.
Defying that common sense cultivates courage to be authentic, to heed inner whispers even when they diverge from popular opinion. Strength is not conformity, but quiet integrity aligned with deepest values. The journey toward insight and maturity is continuous uncovering. We peel back conditioning, dismantling mental frameworks that no longer serve liberation. This is not intellectual accumulation, but direct, experiential knowing arising from mindful observation.
We feel tension when a rule conflicts with inner knowing and release when we let go of self-imposed expectation. Each observation sharpens discernment, revealing what nourishes spirit and what fuels endless striving. To move beyond fragility is to cultivate inner spaciousness, a calm reservoir undisturbed by worldly tides. This is not escape, but full engagement, seeing things as they are, unclouded by desire and fear. Rooted in this stability, fortune's slings and arrows lose power. We meet praise and blame with equanimity, knowing worth is not set by external measure. Choices arise from wisdom and compassion, not fear of nonconformity or hunger for approval. This shift is the essence of insight and maturity. Liberation from unconscious conditioning, emancipation from common sense that narrows our view. True freedom is not following every prescribed path, but cultivating a clear, discerning mind that navigates life with grace, wisdom, and steady peace. Maturity is an unfolding, a gentle invitation to look deeper, question kindly, and choose what leads to clarity and liberation. With each step, we move from fragility toward a quiet, unshakable strength, grounded in the timeless wisdom of an awakened heart. The cultivation of inner stability, transcending external fluctuations, is not a destination but a continuous unfolding, a gentle journey into the heart. This stability is not a rigid fortress but supple resilience, like a willow bending with the wind yet rooted. Our well-being need not depend on the ephemeral world, but on a mind trained in mindfulness and compassion. Many inherited shoulds and musts yield a fragile peace, easily shattered by slightest disturbance. True spiritual maturity invites shedding automatic responses and cultivating a discerning mind that tests beliefs and actions by inner peace and liberation. It is a quiet self-reliance, recognizing the deepest wells of contentment lie within, independent of shifting currents. Patient introspection sharpens an internal compass, guiding choices that nourish spirit and foster equanimity. This is not withdrawal from life, but engaging fully, with an open heart and clear mind, unburdened by the need for validation or fear of nonconformity. Courage here is profound and gentle, not grand gestures but moment-to-moment choices to confront imperfection with honesty and compassion. It is humility to acknowledge limited perspective, bias, and the ego's whisper for control. Such surrender is not defeat, but liberation, letting go of familiar, confining narratives about self and world. When we stop grasping at the illusion of control and open to truths beyond immediate comprehension, we begin to tap the boundless wisdom of a purified mind. This mind is not empty of thought or feeling, but perceives them without entanglement, seeing transients and refusing to let them dictate inner state. It observes without judgment the arising and passing of phenomena, creating an inner spaciousness where peace can flourish, untouched by external storms. Purification is gentle, releasing aversion, loosening craving, illuminating ignorance. Each small letting go strengthens equanimity and deepens our sense of interconnectedness. Making peace with reality becomes the cornerstone of maturity. Not passive resignation, it is an active, compassionate embrace of life as it unfolds, acknowledging change, suffering, and limits, not with despair, but with acceptance. When we cease to fight what is and allow reality to be, a deep calm settles. This knowing is embodied, recognizing the present, with its challenges, as the only moment we truly have.
Cultivating unshakable stability means seeing external trials may cause discomfort, but cannot disturb the fundamental peace of a mind rooted in wisdom and compassion. True security lies in an internal sanctuary of awareness that remains serene amid turmoil. This refuge is built by meeting difficulty with an open heart and clear mind, transforming adversity into growth and insight. Freedom, then, is inner. At peace with what is, we are no longer tossed by desire and aversion, praise and blame, gain and loss. Our inner landscape becomes a still lake, reflecting sky with clarity, undisturbed by ripples. Difficulties continue, but our relationship to them is transformed. Instead of reacting with fear or resistance, we meet them with equanimity, letting them pass without clinging or pushing. This steady presence is fruit of sustained practice and proof of the mind's capacity for transformation. It is liberation from ceaseless striving and regret, allowing us to reside fully in the present. Inner stability, grown through mindfulness and compassion, becomes a wellspring of courage, enabling us to face life with grace and unwavering peace. The deepest strength is found not in resistance, but in acceptance, not in control, but in surrender to wisdom arising from a purified heart and mind, guiding us toward authentic, lasting freedom.